Saturday night, Imperial Grand Hotel, Makati City, 7:23 p.m. The moment the glass doors of Imperial Grand Hotel glided open, Jirren regretted coming. The place was glowing, classy, too bright. Every surface gleamed polished marble floors, golden elevator trims, glass chandeliers dripping like frozen tears from the ceiling. Women in gowns floated through the lobby like they were made of silk and perfume. Men in tuxedos laughed over clinks of champagne glasses. It was a world Jirren had no business stepping into. Not tonight. And yet, there he was, dressed in black. His hoodie half-zipped, Converse scuffed, hair damp from the drizzle outside, eyes hollow. He looked like grief had taken human form. He shouldn't be here. But he was. The concierge gave him a wary look, probably wondering why someone who looked like a mourning ghost was standing near the elevators at a luxury hotel on a Saturday night. Jirren didn't care. His fingers clutched his phone tighter in his pocket, like he was hoping someone Russel might text, might call, might say, "Don't come, this isn't what you think. I miss you too." But there was nothing. No buzz, no light, just silence and laughter. Jirren's head snapped up. He knew that voice, knew it better than his own. Deep, low, and deliberate the way it always made his skin react like memory was a living thing. It spilled out of a private dining hall up ahead. Laughter, music, the sound of glasses toasting, joy. But Jirren felt none of it. Every instinct told him to walk away. Leave, run. But his feet disobeyed. He walked down the hallway slowly, like a ghost slipping between the living. His steps didn't echo. He didn't belong here. He wasn't invited. He was an echo, a secret, an afterthought. He paused when he reached the frosted glass doors of the event hall. His reflection stared back at him, pale, tired, cracked around the eyes. And then the doors opened from inside. A waiter slipped past him, and for a second, the room was visible through the gap. Then he saw it. Russel, standing near the center of the room, dressed in a crisp black suit, tailored to perfection. His hair was slicked back, jaw clean-shaven. He looked every bit the man Jirren used to crave, every angle familiar, every breath Jirren had once memorized. But Russel wasn't alone. She was beside him, a woman in a deep red gown, her long curls falling down her back like a waterfall. She was breathtaking and radiant in a way that burned. Her arm was looped through Russel's. Jirren stared. Something squeezed inside his chest, cold and cruel. She turned and smiled at Russel. Her lips brushed his cheek. He laughed again, his real laugh. The one Jirren hadn't heard in months. Not since he stopped calling. Not since the texts turned short and cold. Not since the ghosting. And then the room began to applaud. People turned to them, cheered. Russel took the woman's hand, brought it to his lips, and kissed it. Gently, slowly, proudly. The woman raised her left hand. A diamond glittered on her finger. Gasps, smiles, hugs, an engagement. Jirren stopped breathing. He couldn't move, couldn't blink, couldn't feel. His body was numb, but his soul screamed so loud it vibrated through his ribs. He wanted to shatter the glass and demand answers. He wanted to scream in Russel's face and ask him why he kissed Jirren like he meant it, only to kiss someone else in public like it was love. But instead, he stood still, just watching. He watched Russel smile at the crowd, watched his fingers hold the woman's waist, like they belonged there, like it wasn't a lie. How long had it been since Russel touched him like that? Had it ever meant anything? Jirren backed away, his heart pounding against his ribs like it wanted out, like it was begging to escape before it bled to death. He turned and walked stumbled away from the hallway, past the glittering lobby, past the concerned concierge, past the velvet and gold, past everything, out into the street. The cold air hit him like a slap. Rain kissed his cheeks, mixing with the tears he hadn't noticed falling. He kept walking. No destination, just away from the man he loved. Jirren found a bench by the hotel's private garden, hidden behind trimmed hedges, far from the buzz. The rain had lightened to a soft mist, making the city lights look like a painting blurred by grief. The bench was cold. The kind of cold that seeps through fabric, into skin, then bones. But he didn't flinch. He just sat down like his body no longer belonged to him, just a vessel carrying the weight of a heart too full of hurt. All around him, the night continued, like it didn't care. The faint sound of laughter spilled from the lobby. Somewhere behind the glass and velvet walls, people were celebrating, toasting, kissing, dancing. The woman in the red gown probably twirled once already, her diamond ring catching the light. Maybe Russel was holding her now, hand on the small of her back the way he used to hold Jirren in the dark, when no one could see them. Jirren stared at the puddle forming at his feet, water collecting from the mist, soaking into the concrete like tears that didn't fall. He didn't cry. He couldn't. His eyes just stayed open, wide and haunted, as if blinking would let the pain fall, as if tears were too soft for what he felt, too forgiving. This pain didn't deserve soft. It deserved silence. It deserved cold. He sat there like a statue, drenched and still, the hood of his jacket heavy with rainwater. Each drop that slid down his temple felt like time punishing him, for hoping, for loving, for believing that maybe, just maybe, he had been enough. His chest hurt in a way he didn't know how to name. Not sharp like a knife, not burning like fire. It was something deeper, a slow, unraveling ache, like something had torn inside him, and there was no stitching it back. His phone buzzed. The sound was jarring in the quiet, violent. He blinked for the first time in minutes, and slowly reached into his soaked pocket with shaking fingers. The screen lit up against the shadows. A message. From Naya. The only person who knew, the only one who had ever held his secrets without judgment. Hey, did you go to the Imperial Grand? I just heard it's Russel's engagement dinner. Please don't tell me you're there. Jirren stared at the message until the light dimmed on its own, leaving only his reflection in the black screen. Too late. He let the phone drop to his lap, screen down, as if seeing it again might split him open. He didn't respond. What could he say? That he stood in the hallway like a ghost while the man he had given every part of himself to held another hand? That the same mouth that had whispered his name against his throat now pressed a public kiss to someone else's fingers? That the man who once made him feel like a beautiful secret now celebrated someone else like a trophy? His throat tightened. It wasn't even the betrayal. It was the way Russel smiled. Like he had never loved anyone else. Like Jirren had never existed. Like the nights in his arms, the stolen kisses, the whispered promises, they had all been nothing. Make-believe. A hidden affair in the shadows while Russel's real life unfolded in the spotlight. Untouched by guilt. Jirren could still feel Russel's hands on him. The weight, the warmth, the way he used to say stay, like it meant something. The way he made Jirren believe there was a place for him in a life that was never his. He swallowed the taste of salt rising in his throat. No tears, no relief. Only the echo of Russel's laughter in his ears, rewinding and playing on loop like a cruel soundtrack to Heartbreak. He turned off his phone. Silence was kinder. The rain was still falling by the time the taxi pulled up to the curb. Jirren didn't say thank you. He didn't look at the driver, just handed over the fare with fingers that barely felt real, and stepped out into the wet night. The familiar facade of the two-story modern house stood before him like a stranger wearing the skin of a home. It was supposed to be theirs, a symbol of a shared life, a future they were quietly building. After graduation, after years of secrets and waiting and compromise, this was where they landed, a quiet place tucked away from the noise of the world, where they could breathe without hiding. Jirren walked up the driveway slowly. Each step was heavier than the last, soaked sneakers squelching against concrete. He fumbled for the keys with numb fingers, finally unlocking the door, and stepped inside. Darkness greeted him like an old friend. The lights were off. The living room was untouched. The same shoes by the door, the same framed photo of them on the entry table, Russel smiling with his arm around Jirren's shoulders, forehead pressed against his temple like it was the easiest thing in the world, like forever was something they already held in their hands. Jirren stared at that photo longer than he should have. He wanted to tear it from the frame. He wanted to throw it against the wall and watch it shatter. But he didn't move. His limbs wouldn't listen to him anymore. Everything in the house felt colder, sharper, emptier. The walls echoed too loudly. The air was too still. He climbed the stairs in silence, trailing his fingertips against the banister like it might tether him to something that felt real. But everything felt hollow now, like the house had been gutted from the inside out, like love had been scraped from the walls and replaced with the echo of someone else's name. He reached the bedroom. Their bedroom. Still made, still tidy. Russel had always been neat. He liked the pillows arranged just so. He liked the scent of cedar in the diffuser. He liked their closet color-coded, a place for everything and everything in its place. Except for Jirren's heart. There had never really been a place for that, had there? Not in the daylight, not in the real world. Just between stolen moments and locked doors and promises never spoken aloud. He didn't stay in the bedroom. He couldn't. He went straight to the bathroom, opened the door, clicked it shut behind him, and finally, he collapsed. The tiles were cold under his knees. His body gave out the moment the door latched shut, like his muscles had only been holding him upright out of spite. He slid down the wall, legs folding beneath him, back hunched like he was trying to disappear into the sterile silence. His palms came up to his face, and his shoulders shook. The silence inside the bathroom was the cruel kind, the kind that didn't care about the storm inside your chest. It just echoed every breath, every sob, every broken sound, until the space itself became an amplifier for pain, and the tears came. Not loud, not cinematic, just quiet, raw weeping, a leaking of sorrow that he couldn't control anymore. His face was soaked before he even noticed. His breathing hitched, hands trembling against his cheeks, fingers digging into the skin as if he could tear the emotion out if he just clawed hard enough. Why? Why didn't Russel tell him? Why did he let Jirren stay in this house, make breakfast, do laundry, kiss his shoulder when he came home from work, if he was already giving himself to someone else? Was it always meant to end like this? Just silence, just pain that stabbed without bleeding. How long had Russel known he was getting engaged? Was that why he'd been distant for months? Was that why he stopped texting? Why he came home late? Why his eyes looked past Jirren, like he was no longer there? It all made sense now. Every unexplained meeting. Every night Russel turned away from him in bed. Every time he said, "Don't ask too many questions." Jirren, like love had become an inconvenience. Jirren shook his head violently, like he could shake the memories out, like he could erase the feel of Russel's lips on his skin, the sound of his voice murmuring half-lies in the dark, the warmth of his arms wrapped around him while he whispered, "I'm not ready to tell the world, but you're mine. You're always mine." Lies. He had never belonged to Russel. Not really. All those cold stares, the ignored calls, the absence of warmth after everything they shared, it hadn't been distance. It had been replacement. Jirren gripped his chest like it would stop the tearing. Like if he held hard enough, his heart might stay in one piece. But there was no stopping heartbreak when it came from the one you gave your soul to. The sobs came again, choked, painful, quiet. He pressed his forehead to the floor, his hands trembling beneath him. He wanted to scream. He wanted to scratch at the tiles. He wanted to pass out and never wake up, but he stayed. He stayed in that bathroom, drowning in the silence, with grief curling around him like a second skin. "I hate you," he whispered to no one. "I hate that I still love you." The rain didn't stop. It kept pounding against the windows like it was trying to come in, like it wanted to fill the room and drown everything inside. Jirren didn't move. He sat on the floor for hours. His back leaned against the edge of the king-sized bed that still held the scent of Russel's cologne in the sheets. The same sheets they used to bury themselves under after long days, after shared showers, after whispered laughter. Sheets that once wrapped around the body of a man who promised nothing but looked at Jirren like he was everything. Now they just looked like linen. Cold, clean, too neat. Jirren hadn't changed out of his clothes. The same black hoodie clung to his skin, soaked in patches. His jeans were stiff with dried rain. His hair had begun to curl at the edges from the damp, but he couldn't feel any of it. Only the stillness. The stillness of a house that used to be alive. A house that used to be filled with late-night footsteps, distant music, the hum of a voice calling his name from the stairs. The quiet now felt unbearable. He could hear the ticking of the wall clock in the hallway, the distant drip of the kitchen tap, even the subtle crackle of the lampshade beside him. He stared at his phone, the screen glaring in the dark like a tiny, cruel spotlight. Russel, last seen 2 hours ago. No new messages. Jirren's hand trembled as he tapped into their conversation history. It was all still there, untouched. A digital graveyard of what used to be. Jirren, I miss you. Russel, been busy. Don't cling too much. 3 dots hadn't appeared after that. There was no sorry. No, I miss you too. No excuses. No explanations. Just silence. The same silence Russel had been offering him for weeks. Months. At first, Jirren had convinced himself it was stress, work, family, timing. But now, after tonight, it all made sense. He had already let Jirren go. Quietly, cruelly, without a fight. Jirren swallowed the sob that clawed up his throat, pressing the back of his hand to his mouth as if he could trap the sound there, as if the heartbreak would be less real if he kept it silent. His lips quivered against the skin of his knuckles, his breath stuttering in his chest. He didn't want to scream. He needed to. But even that felt useless. What would screaming do? The walls wouldn't echo back. Russel wouldn't hear. No one would care. The silence would just eat the sound, and then he'd be left here again, shaking, broken, unseen. The lamp beside him buzzed faintly, flickering. He stared at it blankly. The light was dim and warm, casting soft shadows against the hardwood floor. For a second, it looked like peace. The kind of peace he used to feel when Russel pulled him into bed and whispered, "Let's not think tonight. Just hold me." But that was gone too. He stood up. Too fast. His vision tilted slightly, but the weight of the ache inside him steadied him again. His elbow hit the lamp. It toppled with a dull thud and cracked against the floor, the bulb flickering once then dying. The room went dark. Jirren stood in the silence, his chest heaving. One hand clenched into a fist, the other still reaching for something invisible, something like closure. But there was none. The only thing left in this room was the echo of his own breath. He looked around at the pieces of their life together, photos still hanging, their matching mugs still on the shelf, the plant he watered because Russel always forgot. Everything looked exactly the same, but nothing felt right. Not anymore. He needed to leave, drive, vanish, run from the ashes of his own heart. The rain had grown heavier by the time Jirren slipped behind the wheel. It pounded relentlessly against the roof of his car, like the sky itself was screaming. He sat still for a moment, eyes on the road ahead, engine humming beneath him, like a beast waiting to be set loose. His hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles turned white. His hoodie clung to his body, damp and cold, and the seatbelt pressed against his chest like a restraint he didn't want but needed. The cabin smelled like soaked cotton and exhaustion. The faint scent of Russell's cologne still clung to the fabric of the seat beside him. He had driven this car just 3 days ago. That memory made Jirren's throat close. He turned the key. The engine growled. The windshield wipers began their frantic rhythm screech. Slide. Screech. But no matter how fast they moved, they couldn't keep up with the water. The road was a blur of red brake lights, shimmering reflections, and gold halos from street lamps bleeding into puddles. He pulled out onto the city highway, the glow of Makati's skyline vanishing behind him. The storm outside couldn't compare to the one inside his chest. It was strange, the quiet fury, the numbness under the skin, the way every breath felt like it took too much effort. Heartbreak wasn't just pain, it was weight, something that lived under your ribs and made you forget how to breathe. He hit the accelerator. Faster. The car obeyed like it understood the ache, like it too had been betrayed, like it wanted to run away from something it couldn't name. The tires hissed against the wet asphalt. His eyes stayed locked on the dark stretch of road ahead, but his mind spiraled in all directions. Russell's laugh, Russell's voice in the shower, Russell's tired smile when he'd walk in at midnight and fall face first into the bed. Russell kissing the top of his head when he thought Jirren was asleep, and then Russell in a black suit, beside her, smiling at her like she was his forever. Jirren clenched his jaw until it hurt. "I gave you everything," he whispered into the night, voice trembling with fury, grief, and disbelief. "Why did you make me think I mattered?" The words scratched his throat as they came out. Not loud, not dramatic. Just a broken confession offered to the empty seat beside him. He remembered Russel's mouth on his neck. The way he'd traced circles with his thumb against Jirren's spine. The way he'd groan his name like it belonged in his mouth. The way he'd say, "Don't leave. Not yet. Just stay a little longer." None of it was real. None of it. "I waited," Jirren breathed. "I loved you." The speedometer crept higher. The road twisted ahead into a curve, and the storm picked up again. Thunder cracked like bones breaking, and the sky split with a flash of white lightning that lit the entire road. Then, headlights. Appearing from around the bend, blinding, huge, fast. There wasn't time, there wasn't a thought. Just the image of that diamond ring catching the light, her red dress, and Russel's proud, public smile beside her. Then, screams. Metal. Glass. Darkness. Light touched the corners of the room like it was unsure if it was allowed to be there. Soft, golden, and still. Jirren felt it before he saw it. The warmth of it on his cheek. The gentle pull of morning against his eyelids. For a second, he thought it was a dream. Or maybe he was dead. Maybe that was what came after the crash. The cold numbness, the scream of metal folding, the taste of blood. Maybe this was the last flicker of consciousness before everything ended. But then he heard it. Not sirens, not beeping monitors, not the distant murmur of a hospital. Birds. He heard birds first. The gentle warbling of early morning swallows drifting in through the windows. Familiar. Too familiar. Then came the rhythmic hum of an electric fan spinning lazily in the corner. Then, the sound of his own shallow breath. Unsteady, fragile, real. Jirren opened his eyes slowly, blinking into a room washed in soft daylight. For a moment, his heart didn't know what to do. It simply thudded quietly, as if unsure whether to panic or rest. The ceiling above him was not Russel's ceiling. It wasn't the minimalist white of their shared bedroom in the modern house. It wasn't high and smooth with recessed lights, or a ceiling fan with Bluetooth speakers. This one was plain white, slightly cracked near the corners, with faint ballpoint pen marks arcing across the plaster, the result of boredom and teenage rebellion. His lips parted, but no sound came out. He sat up with a jolt. The mattress beneath him dipped like an old friend. The sheets were soft and smelled faintly of fresh detergent and comfort. Everything around him buzzed with a sense of impossible familiarity. The posters on the wall caught his eye next N-17, TXT, BT Sol staring back at him like nothing had ever changed. Not a single corner had peeled, not a single frame missing. His bookshelf still held his collection of YA novels and K-drama box sets. His old desk was covered in a chaotic mess of pastel highlighters, an unfinished letter, and his favorite mechanical pencil. The plush toys on his bed, Shooky and RJ, still sat where he used to leave them every morning before school. His throat tightened, his pulse began to race. "No," he breathed, voice cracking with disbelief. He kicked off the blanket and swung his legs over the side of the bed, hands trembling as he made his way to the drawer near the nightstand. He yanked it open with a sharp tug. Inside, beneath a half-filled notebook and his old charger cord, was his wallet. And inside the wallet, his student ID. The plastic was slightly bent at the edges. The photo on it showed a younger Jirren, bare-faced, innocent, with a wide, shy smile. Jirren Lane, Xavier International University, freshman, date issued. 10 years ago. His knees gave out. He dropped to the floor like the weight of time had finally caught up to him. The ID slipped from his fingers and landed on the floor in front of him, face up. He stared at it as if seeing a ghost, as if he were the ghost. The air left his lungs in a stuttering breath. His hands covered his mouth as a sob tore through him, raw and soundless. His chest heaved, struggling to hold in the storm that had begun to rise inside him. He clutched the ID to his chest and rocked slowly on the floor, his back against the bed, eyes squeezed shut, heart pounding like it remembered everything. He was back before the darkness, before Russel's coldness, before the cheating, the lies, the silence that hollowed him out, back to the version of himself that still believed in forever, back to the beginning, before he met Russel, before his love at first sight, before the betrayal. He staggered to his feet, wiping his tears roughly from his cheeks. He needed proof, something more than this surreal ache in his chest. He ran, He opened the door and bolted down the hallway, heart hammering in his ears as his bare feet hit the warm wooden floor. His breath came in ragged pulls, his tears still slipping free as he passed the familiar photo frames hung on the wall. Family vacations, birthdays, New Year's parties, moments he hadn't truly looked at in years. He reached the stairs and took them two at a time, his hands skimming the banister like it was sacred. He didn't know what he would find downstairs. He didn't dare to hope, but then he heard it. Laughter from the dining room. He slowed to a crawl, footsteps light, breath caught in his chest like glass. He turned the corner. There they were. His mother in her pink house dress, standing near the stove with a spatula in her hand, humming softly. His father sitting at the table in a plain t-shirt and shorts, sipping coffee and reading the newspaper. A plate of his favorite breakfast danget and garlic rice already on the table, steam curling in the morning air. They looked younger, alive, bright, whole, like no time had passed at all. Jirren stood there frozen. Tears fell freely now, tracing hot lines down his cheeks. His shoulders trembled. He hadn't seen him like this in so long. Not like this. Not in the mornings when his father would joke about politics and his mother would scold him gently for eating too fast. Not in the quiet laughter shared between two people who still loved each other deeply. He had spent so much of the past 10 years drifting farther and farther away from them. Russel had always come first. His schedule, his mood swings, his secrets. Jirren had given up holidays, missed birthdays, skipped dinners just to be with him, just to keep that broken love alive. And in doing so, he had lost this. He had lost them. Jirren pressed a hand to his mouth to hold back a sob. His knees nearly buckled again from the weight of everything crashing into him, but they hadn't seen him yet. And in that second, that single second of stillness, he made a decision. And this time, he won't let Russel destroy him again.